Hello, welcome to another episode of Trial by Magus with continuing coverage from the final days of the Skies of Albion confrontation event. Now you see here that I have received another reward from participation in this event. This is the Dornier Do.17Z Tier 4 Tech Line German medium or light bomber. This aircraft began life as a proposed design offered to Deutsche Lufthansa, the German airline company, as a mail carrier and small passenger plane. It would have carried 6 people in a passenger cabin underneath the wing here, in a space that was converted for bomb carrying. The Do.17 was not accepted for use with Lufthansa, but after further modifications, the Luftwaffe did accept her, ordered several copies, and put it to its tests in the Spanish Civil War, where the Do.17 saw combat operating with the Condor Legions alongside other early German bomber designs like the Heinkel 111 and the Junkers Ju.88A I twin-engine bomber. Now, out of those 3, the Junkers failed. The bomber was pulled from frontline service after the invasion of Poland, whereas the Dornier and the Heinkel went on for use in every theater of combat until they were replaced by later models. The Dornier here was later replaced by its bigger, badder cousin, the Dornier Do.17, which shows up in warplanes as the Tier 6 German medium bomber. Tactics-wise, this aircraft is to be flown exactly in the same manner as the Junkers Ju.88A, i.e. only use it in a mid to high to extremely high altitude precision bomber. Her outfit includes 20 50-kilogram bombs that are dropped in 5 clusters of 4 each, just like the Ju.88. Her reload time is also the same, 40 seconds. So you want to make sure that those bombs hit on target when you're doing your initial drop, so that when you get to the point where you're having to reload, you've made the most use of your bombs. Because 40 seconds is a lot of downtime compared to the 20-second reload time you see on the Tier 3 British bomber, the Blenheim. Let's take a look at stats here and compare this plane across the board. Okay, now you can see here that the Ju.88A, the Tier 5, which I'm using for a comparison here because there are no other Tier 4 bombers in the game at this point in time. So the Ju.88A really is the closest competitor to the Do.17. So we're going to take a look at those. And I've also brought up the heavy fighter variant of the Do.17Z. Here it appears as a Tier 3 premium heavy fighter in warplanes. So let's take a look here. Altitude performance. The heavy fighter and bomber variants of this aircraft have the exact same altitude performance. The Ju.88A is a little bit higher, as you would expect. Maneuverability ratings. The heavy fighter version is terrible. The bomber version is worse. And the Junkers at Tier 5 is even worse than the Do.17. Now, the bomber here, its maneuverability score here is artificially low. It doesn't represent what I've seen with this thing in-game, because when you're in a bombing run on this thing, you are able to swing that control around while you are in the bombardier mode in order to get bombs on targets that are to the left or to the right of what you've initially dropped a bomb on. So the setting up of linear bomb runs where all your targets are in a row are important with the Dornier bomber. However, it's got so many drops with 5 per load that it's hard to line up 5 targets in one run. So if you need to veer to the left or to the right, and you're confident in your aiming and throttle abilities, by all means, this aircraft will provide you the flexibility to do that rather than doing straight line runs. Airspeed, the heavy fighter variant, obviously is the fastest out of all three of these. However, the bomber variant at Tier 4 is still quite fast with a rating of 27, but not as fast as the Junkers is flying at altitude. Survivability, best survivability goes to the Tier 5, of course, and it just grades down from there. Bombs and rockets, they carry the same load, but the Junkers has 5 points more there. And gun armament is pretty much irrelevant here because the bombers only have defensive guns. Now, speaking of those defensive guns, let's take a look at them here. Much like the Junkers, the Dornier is just covered with defensive guns. You've got 2 here in the front, 3 on top here, with 2 being shoulder mounts firing off into this area and this area over here, and the other one firing directly behind. You also have a ventral mount down here that aims behind and slightly below the aircraft. The engines, all radial, and they're all BMW Brahmo models. For optional equipment, I recommend engine tuning, bomb sight 2, and turret stabilization because these guns, like the guns on the Tier 5 Junkers, have an effective base firing range of 600 meters. If you double that up with the turret stabilization and the ballistics expert skill for your gunner, that will get extended almost to 800 meters effective firing range, meaning they can fire further than that. So these guns don't do much damage, but you can get a lot of coverage on them, and with enough skills on your rear gunner, even a 7.92 millimeter machine gun will get a pilot to buzz off. And the event has begun here, so I believe I need to wrap this up and get into one more night of flying. I have a battle now for you to demonstrate the capabilities of the Dornier 17. It is flighted up with my longtime wingman Waffles of Wrath of the Knights of Dracarys clan. Hope you enjoy it. Good hunting.
Attention! You are entering the combat zone. Get ready for battle. Good luck. Pilots, get ready for action. Let's go.
an den Feind, ran an den Feind. Bomben auf England!
Launching strikes on the enemy. This will make things easier for you.
Wir schnellen den britischen Löwen, zum letzten entscheidenden Tag. Wir halten Gericht, ein weltweiter Blick, das wird unser stolzester Tag. Kamerad, Kamerad, alle Wähler müssen warten. Kamerad, Kamerad, der Befehl ist da, wir warten. Kamerad, Kamerad, die Lohn ist entstand. Ran an den Feind, ran an den Feind, Bomben auf England. Die Motoren singen ran an den Feind, hört ihr in den Ohren singen ran an den Feind. Bomben, Bomben, Bomben auf England. Hört ihr die Motoren singen ran an den Feind, hört ihr in den Ohren singen ran an den Feind. Bomben, Bomben, Bomben auf England.
Take out the plant. This can bring us victory. skies. Way to go.